BC and Ontario have called violent extortion cases targeting the Canadian South Asian community a national crisis. As a way to fight this brutal crime wave with connections to organized crime in India, BC's Premier David Eby is pressing Ottawa to move faster on laws targeting extortion and immigration loopholes.
The idea is ludicrous that somebody involved in functionally, from my perspective, a terror attack in our community that is ongoing is allowed to claim the benefits of refugee status.
Premier Eby says gray areas in bail and immigration laws are undercutting local police efforts, and he wants 2 federal bills passed that would toughen bail rules and limit refugee claims for those who are even suspected of serious crimes. For more on this morning, we're joined by Chantal Desloges. She's an immigration and refugee lawyer at the Canadian Immigration Lawyers Association. Good morning.
Good morning.
So more formally, these are known as Bill C12 and Bill C14. Those are the 2 pieces of legislation that Premier Eby wants to get voted in. What do these new bills change about immigration and bail?
Well, the main thing about C14 is that it proposes to expand reverse onus provisions for bail hearings. So right now, for most offenses in Canada, if someone is accused of a crime and they're detained, the burden is on the Crown to prove why they need to stay in detention while their case is being heard. What this bill proposes to do is to keep people in prison longer pre-trial by reversing the onus. So the person will have to prove that they should be let out of detention as opposed to the Crown having to prove why they should stay in.
Which is a huge about-face for how we currently do things.
Yeah, it definitely is, and it raises a lot of problems. To cover off your question about C12, so what C12 proposes to do is to restrict eligibility for people to claim refugee status. I don't think it's going to be the panacea that the Premier thinks it will be because it restricts eligibility more broadly and doesn't specifically address this issue of crime. There are other elements of the bill as well, but this is the most germane.
Back to Bill C14, that introduces this, as you mentioned, this reverse onus on bail in certain cases. So how does that then help police in communities, local police in communities? And really, this is a problem in 4 provinces right now. How does it help them deal with this crime spree that's created desperation and fear for certain communities in those provinces, and how they deal with violence and extortive crimes?
Yeah. So personally, I don't think it does address the root causes of the crimes that are happening. But it does have the effect of keeping people who are suspected or accused of crimes in custody so that people don't have to deal with them, or police don't have to deal with them being back out on the street potentially to commit other crimes while they're waiting for a trial on the first accusation.
Outside of this frame of extortion cases, do you see any risk to these bills as infringing on rights?
Oh, they infringe on rights big time. Our Charter of Rights and Freedoms actually guarantees that people are considered innocent until proven guilty. So basically what this proposes to do is to start punishing people by putting them in jail before anything is even proven against them. That's quite shocking. I mean, in order to accept that, I think you'd have to come at it from the angle that law enforcement is pretty much always right. Well, on this show this morning, just a couple of minutes ago, there was a report about police officers being accused of being involved in corruption. We only have to look south of the border to see what happens the minute you start to take the guardrails off of our fundamental principles in our justice system, how quickly things go Lord of the Flies. It doesn't take long to happen, and those rules are there for a reason.
And they would be applied to not just extortion cases, they would be applied across the board if we were to see that kind of legislative change.
Not across the board, but for certain other offenses like motor vehicle theft involving violence, that sort of thing, yeah.
If either of these bills gets passed, how quickly would the changes make a difference on the streets in places like Ontario, BC, Manitoba?
Well, it would pretty much be instantaneous, because the minute the law is passed, now it's going to change the entire system of how judges have to treat cases that come before them for bail. And a big concern also is that this is going to clog up the court system and clog up the jails, which is already a problem, right? Bail hearings are going to become more hotly contested. They're going to be more complex, more lengthy, ties up judges who could be conducting trials to find out whether a person is guilty or not. which is already a problem. And, keeping people in jails which are already overloaded, this has the potential to have a lot of long-term effects.
Chantel, thanks for helping us unpack this.
Thank you.
If you like that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.